The energy, Scott, that you put into your work can be felt by the people that receive it. This is how amazing energy is. Energy is like this universal language that has no words, yet you and I can feel it. Maya Angelou said it best when she said, "People will forget what you did, people will forget what you said, but they will never forget the way you made them feel." So if somebody, say a relative of yours, cooks you a beautiful meal to welcome you home, you feel it. When you sit down and you eat that plate of food, you feel that love. You feel the energy that was put into preparing that meal for you. But if somebody had to cook you food because they had to, and there was no energy put into it, you feel it. Some people go to a restaurant and say, "Oh, I just didn't like that meal," because probably the person that put it together did it just because they had to. And so when you put good energy into something, people actually feel it. And this is why when we look at business, people don't buy your products, your ideas, or your services as much as they buy into your energy. They buy your energy because at the end of the day, it's a human relationship. It's a human transaction. We're buying into someone, or we're buying to be part of someone's circle.
Yeah, we are truly the energy we put out into the world. And when
Mm.
you're putting good energy out into the world, this is something I talk about when it comes to impact all the time.
Yeah.
I talk about the habit of daily impact, in that anytime I'm struggling, anytime I'm challenged, I try to go in and I
Mm.
say, okay, what are the random acts of kindness I've done today? Am
Mm.
I holding a door for somebody? Am I carrying some boxes in for someone? Am I telling
Yeah.
the cashier at the grocery store that, wow, her nails look great? Or,
Mm.
hey, I see that you have a button of England
Mm.
soccer. Like, is that your team? And are you a fan, by the way? Is that something that you're
Mm.
you're watching right now? Are you paying attention to
Yeah, no,
the
I'm.
the Euros?
I've certainly been following it. I mean, we're through to the final against Spain, so it's not often that I've seen England get to the finals. So I'm enjoying it while we can.
Well, they certainly know how to take penalty kicks and handle pressure. And watching someone like Saka, who missed it might have been the World Cup. I can't remember exactly
Mm.
where he missed,
Mm.
but then come back and make another big one. These are the things that you see. But
Yeah.
when it comes to this is ADHD at its finest,
Mm.
folks. When it comes to the acts of kindness, what I find is you're paying attention to the energy that you're putting out. You're not
Mm.
paying attention
Mm.
only to the energy that you're receiving. And
Yeah.
as we change the energy we put out, all you start to receive is
Mm.
positivity, is good
Mm.
energy, is reinforcement. And whatever
Mm.
you're feeling can be flipped. And it's such a powerful thing. And it's something
Yeah.
that I still have to remind myself of all the time. Like, it's not something that
Mm.
just comes every day. We have to actively work at it. And you're out there
Yeah.
preaching this and telling people this every single day.
No, exactly. We attract the energy we are. If you want something from other people, become it first, and you'll become a magnet for those sort of people. This is why all change begins with ourselves. We have to lead by example. I was talking to a group of people in leadership positions recently, and I said to them, you cannot effectively lead people unless you are powerfully leading yourself first. And that begins with your own development. Are you stagnant? Are you just stuck in your old ways? Or are you actually being better than who you were yesterday? Because the action that you take and who you are in front of other people, that tells the rest of your organization how they should act. There's a lot of analogies I can make with parenting in the sense that children don't always listen to what their parents say, but they will always follow their actions. And it's the same when it comes to the corporate workplace. We may not always listen to what our boss says, but we always follow the standard that they set. And so that relationship we have with how our leaders act is what sets the tone for the company.
Yeah. It's interesting because it also it's also an effective way to look at relationships. If you don't
Mm,
love yourself and
yeah.
actually look at yourself with the way that you want other people to see you, then
Mm,
it's very
mm,
difficult to go out into the world and expect someone to love you the way that you need to feel loved. And we have
yeah.
to define that. We have to define that for ourselves, and
Mm,
then practice it, work at it,
yeah.
being a better version every single day, not the old version, but a better version. I think it's
Mm.
powerful.
And I think Scott. Once you make personal development a choice, what you realize is that there is no end. There's no final destination. You are a constant work in progress. Because when you have the humility to understand there is always something new that you can acquire in terms of knowledge and skill, then you will become adaptable to whatever the world throws your way. That's the real benefit of embracing this eternal student mindset, is that you have the understanding of how to adapt in a rapidly changing world, whether it's the development of technology or artificial intelligence. Your focus on maintaining that white belt mentality means that you are ready for whatever the world throws your way.
Yeah, and I think how we receive that information too. How many people are nervous about the
Mm,
changes that are coming our way right
mm,
now? How many people are looking at AI and saying, "Here's all the things it's going to ruin. Here's all the things that
yeah.
are going to change." But if we have that personal development mindset, we have that growth mindset, we're looking
Mm,
at it for how is it going to make things better? What are the
yeah.
things that
Mhm.
it's going to add and amplify for us? What are the things that you have to do today that you hate doing that you'll
Mm,
never have to
mm,
do again? And there's a lot of those things that I think are going to change. And it's all that
mm,
mindset shift to growing, not dying, not just quitting on
yeah.
yourself.
No, absolutely. I mean, that ability to adapt and to leverage these resources, I think is going to help you progress faster than most people.
So you launched the book.
Hmm.
What people that if you've never launched a book, anyone listening, what you'll realize it's one of the most challenging things and the largest fear of rejection you may ever have
Mm,
because you're putting your thoughts, your mindset, everything you believe in out in a book on paper,
mm,
and then the uh no matter how much the publisher helps or gets it out, you're really the one responsible
yeah.
for making sure that people know this, feel this,
Mm,
understand it. And
yeah.
how have you felt this journey? Like what has it been like for you? And what are some takeaways that you're seeing as you go through it?
Well, first of all, Scott, writing the book was probably the toughest experience of my life because I got the book deal just as the United Kingdom and many other places across the world were entering their first lockdown as a result of the COVID pandemic. And so I got the book deal the same month we went into lockdown. And also, my wife and I became parents for the first time, all in the same month. So it was like this avalanche of things happening all together. And so I had to write this book during the pandemic where we couldn't go out, nobody could come in. I still had to run a business. My wife was recovering from going through an operation to give birth to our daughter. And so there was so many plates I was balancing during that period that it was a very tough challenge to write the book, especially because the longest thing I had written before was my newsletter. So to go from that to writing 65,000 words was certainly a jump. Uh, but what I learned through the process is that writing a good book is only 50% of the process. It is only 50% of the process. The other 50% is getting your book out there. And so once you've got to publication day, you're like, yes, my book is out in the world now. Let me see how people are going to receive it. You then realize, oh, this is just the beginning. I've got to start getting it out to more people. And so it really made me think like a marketer when it came to putting my book out there. And I love that part actually, Scott. I'm a very creative thinker. And so giving giving myself the opportunity to lead on the marketing was so much fun. We did stuff like partnering with the Connaught Hotel in the UK where the head bartender put together an energized cocktail. So for 4 weeks after publication, if you ordered the energized cocktail at this bar, it would be mixed for you and then presented on a signed copy of my book. We did one of the world's first book launches in the metaverse. And later this year, we are partnering with an acclaimed chef here in the UK to create a 6-course dinner, fully immersive, in which each dish is inspired by a message from my book. And so I really enjoyed the creative side of marketing the book. And I'm not going to lie, I was nervous in terms of how people would receive it. But it's just surreal when you see a book in bookstores and people taking selfies with it on social media and sharing their thoughts on Amazon and other platforms. It just makes it worth it. You know, those years spent in front of your laptop, questioning everything you wrote, whether it had value or how people would perceive it, and then to just see it out in the world, it never gets old.
If you like clips like this, I have a similar clip here. And if you want to watch the full video, click here.